So recently on the channel, I did discuss about how Apple was going to be starting their own game subscription service called Apple Arcade. Now, most likely, you probably already heard the news about this because if you're watching this video, you're most likely a tech enthusiast or a gamer, and you probably already know about what Apple is already doing with some of their subscription-based services or what they're doing in the tech realm. But just to bring you up to speed really quickly, if you're unfamiliar with Apple Arcade, since Apple Arcade just came out. Basically, what Apple Arcade is, it's a gaming subscription service from Apple that's only going to work on their certified devices. So for instance, an iPhone or an iPad running the brand new iOS 13, you will be able to get access to Apple Arcade. Outside of those devices, you will be able to use their set-top streaming boxes, the Apple TV. So if you do have an Apple TV by any chance, you will be able to use Apple Arcade on the Apple TV as well. But basically, Apple Arcade allows you to play a lot of mobile games to your heart contents for a low monthly price of $4.99, and I think they're going to be adding brand new games each and every month. And the thing about Apple Arcade is, as well, is you will get the first month free. So if you do want to take this for a test drive and you're unsure about the game quality or you don't know some of the games and you want to test this out for yourself, you will get the first month free. They're not just giving you like a 7-day trial or a 14-day trial like a lot of these other services. They are just flat out going to give you a month, and I think that's a lot of time to actually try these games out for yourself. So that's very interesting as well. But anyway, it looks like Google is going to be combating this because they were sitting there thinking, why is Apple starting this brand new service called Apple Arcade, which allows you to play all these mobile games for $4.99, granted, as long as you have some type of Apple device, an iPad, an iPhone, or an Apple TV. They're like, no, we can't let you take some of the market away from us because we are also in the mobile market as well. We do own Android, and we have the Google Play Store, of course. And they're sitting there thinking, what can we actually do to combat this? We want our own service. It makes sense because, like I said, they do own the Google Play Store. So they're sitting there thinking, yada, yada, yada. And then the news finally breaks as of recent that they are going to be starting their own subscription service as well. And this one is going to be called the Google Play Pass. Now, at the time of this recording, if you're watching this very early on in the lifespan of this video, it's not currently out. Some people have reported they got their hands on it, but a lot of people said they haven't got their hands on it. It's supposed to be coming out sometime this week. Now, I've been checking my Android device since I am an Android user, and so far what I can say is I have not actually seen the Google Play Pass in the Google Play Store yet. For me personally, I think what Google is actually doing with this pass is I think they're giving Pixel owners the first batch of release. So if you are a Pixel owner, you may want to try looking at the Google Play Store, because basically all you do is you go to the Google Play Store and then you go into settings, and there should be a thing that says Google Play Pass in the Google Play Store. So you may want to look for that, especially if you're a Pixel owner. And then the rest of the Android ecosystem or the Android users should be getting this sometime this week. Just note that this service is only going to be in the USA right now as of right now. Will they be expanding? Most likely they'll be expanding, but at least for now, the only market that they are going to be reaching is the United States. So if you're not in the United States, you're going to be out of luck. But what is the Google Play Pass? Well, the Google Play Pass is pretty much Google's answer to Apple Arcade, but this one actually looks like it could be better in multiple different ways. Let's first start off with what the Google Play Pass is. So the Google Play Pass is going to be a subscription-based service as well, just like the Apple Arcade. And they're going to be giving you a lot of different games. So it is going to be a game subscription service as well. And they already have the list of games already out that's coming to this. They already have a launch lineup. And for me personally, this thing is already worth subscribing for. And the price that you're going to have to subscribe to this service for is going to be $4.99. So it's basically going to be the same price as the Apple Arcade. So they're not making it higher and they're not making it lower. However, there is a big condition to this, which does make this deal very sweet. The thing is about this is it is going to be $4.99 a month. However, just like Apple, you know how Apple with the Apple Arcade is actually giving everybody a free month trial. Google is actually doing something a little bit better in my opinion. They're actually going to be giving you the first 12 months for $1.99 a month, and that equals out to like $24 for the first year. So you can see that's one heck of a deal. So $1.99 each month for the first 12 months, which will boil down to, like I said, $24. So that's very good. You can see right now Google is really trying to hit hard when it comes to the Google Play Pass and when it comes to the Apple Arcade. They're really trying to combat what Apple is actually doing, and I think this strategy may work by making this the first 12 months only $24, and then after that it'll go back up to $4.99 a month. And the crazy thing about this service is not just the fact that you actually get games like the Apple Arcade. You actually do get applications bundled in with the actual games, which Apple doesn't even have a service like this. Their Apple Arcade only strictly is for video games or for mobile games, but this one takes it a step further. You are going to be getting apps in the App Store. So basically all the apps that you're going to be getting aren't going to be exclusive to this service. They're going to be apps you can pay for outright. Like for instance, the apps that I see on this list is like AccuWeather. You get AccuWeather Premium, so basically all the ads are removed, and then you get like some of the premium features that you wouldn't get otherwise if you had the free AccuWeather. And then there's some other ones like Photo Studio Pro, Earth View Live, Slow Motion Video FX. So you can see a lot of these apps that they're really trying to bundle with the Google Play Pass. It really does look like that they are a lot of video and photo photography applications. If you're not into photo or videography, then I don't really know what to tell you here when it comes to the applications. Again, they did state that we are going to be getting apps and games monthly for this subscription, so that'll be interesting. But going back to the main reason why you would actually buy this service, the main reason why you would actually subscribe to the service is not for the apps. The apps are kind of like icing on the cake. It's really mainly for the gamers or mobile gamers. If you play mobile games and you're always on your smartphone, or if you wanted to try this out, then I think this is a really great deal. And they have a lot of good hitters on this. I'm going to name some that I think are absolutely worth playing for and already justify at least the $1.99 each month, or at least for the first month $1.99 anyway. For me personally, some of the standout games here, we do have Limbo, which a lot of you guys may be familiar with Limbo, since Limbo was originally an indie game, and it's one of the best indie games. It has a very good story to tell. The art style is amazing. That game everybody knows, and Limbo is just flat out an amazing game. And then the next game, of course, which I do have to highly recommend, is Stardew Valley. They are giving you the Stardew Valley mobile app, and it's pretty much the same game that you loved on consoles and PCs for quite some time now, and I can vouch for that game since I played that game, and that game is flat out an amazing game. And then there's some other games on here that are actually really good quality as well. Let me see if I can find another one which I thought was actually pretty good. I was trying to see the list of games and trying to see other games that are worth actually subscribing for this story. We also got a Star Wars game here. I don't know if the Star Wars game's any good, but we do have Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic there as well. So you can see I just named 3 games. In my opinion, this is probably already worth subscribing for, at least on day one, since it's only going to be $1.99. It looks like, unfortunately, they're not doing what Apple is doing. They're not giving you out a trial for this thing. They're just going to be discounting it for $1.99 for the first 12 months, so for the first year, which is kind of a different tactic than Apple. We'll see how that actually boils down and how that actually works. But overall, I think this service is actually worth subscribing to. It'll just boil down to what type of games you like to play, and if there's any games on the list that justifies your purchase price. For me personally, when this hits my Android device, I will be subscribing to this day one, just because $1.99 is extremely cheap, and I already named 3 games which potentially I'm going to check out. The Star Wars Knights of the Republic, and then Stardew Valley, just play it on mobile just to have it, and then Limbo, since Limbo is a fantastic game and I wouldn't mind playing it on mobile since, well, it's just Limbo. So there's 3 games right there. Now, the big question you may be wondering is, which one should you go for? Should you go for this, or should you go for Apple Arcade? Of course, it will depend on what ecosystem you have. Of course, if you're on Android, you do have to go with the Google Play Pass. You don't have any choice. Or if you're on an iOS device or an Apple device, you have no choice. You have to go with the Apple Arcade. If you have, for instance, like an Android smartphone, and then you have a iOS tablet like an iPad, it could be kind of iffy. It really just boils down to the games, and you're really just going to have to choose which games you think are the ones that you are going to be playing. But then again, I guess these services are so cheap. You could get the Google Play Pass on something like an Android device and get it for $1.99 right off the gate. And then if you have like an iPad, you could get Google Play, or excuse me, you could get Apple Arcade. And since Apple Arcade is only $4.99, you could get it on your iPad, and you can see it wouldn't even be that much money to get both services if you had a way to access both services. Honestly, what do I think of these brand new services coming to the Google Play Store and coming to the App Store? Honestly, I think they're very good ideas from both of these companies. It makes me wonder why these companies haven't done this many years ago. These services would have been like a no-brainer, and apparently from a lot of stuff on the internet, whether it's surveys, whether it's all these statistics and studies and things like that, apparently a lot of people just do not pay for applications on mobile. It's not really a big thing. A lot of people like getting free-to-play games. Of course, not to say that nobody actually gets all these paid applications, but most people just like to get the free to play games. And this will eliminate the fact that you don't have to pay for all these applications individually as a customer. You can get this one service and have all these apps or all these games at your disposal, which is going to be very nice and very interesting. And the fact that it takes away all the stuff that you normally don't like about the mobile aspect, like in-game purchases, like microtransactions and things like ads in a lot of your games, because they're free to play, or a lot of these applications that are cluttered with advertisements. So that's very nice that we have things to get rid of them. And at $1.99, I think this service is just extremely cheap, and I think this service for me personally is worth subscribing for, which is very interesting. It looks like at launch, according to all these websites, it does look like that this thing is going to launch with around 350 applications at your disposal, and it looks like that's a lot of applications to start out with. And honestly, I don't know what else to say about these services. I think they're just very good services. I do understand why these companies like Apple and Google are starting to do things like this, because this is the business model moving forwards when it comes to mobile, when it comes to bigger companies like video games, movies, and things like this. This is the future. A lot of these companies want reoccurring payments, and the only way to get reoccurring payments are to have these subscription-based services. So they're trying to really entice you to get these subscription-based services, so you keep paying a monthly fee. If they have like thousands and thousands of users paying this monthly fee, I've said it before, it really does make them more money than you just buying these games outright one time and being done. Now, I do want to make this clear about, I think, everything that Google has to offer with the Google Play Pass. It does look like every single thing with the Google Play Pass is not going to be exclusive to the Google Play Pass, just like the Apple Arcade. The Apple Arcade is one service that not everything is going to be exclusive. You can buy a lot of these games in the Google Play Store right now as standalone apps. Like, for instance, Stardew Valley you can buy for like $6, or Limbo you can buy, or all these other games. So they're not exclusive to this service, but for $1.99 you're actually getting a much more better deal, in my opinion, instead of buying all these games outright, because you do have to pay $6, $5, $4 and $1.99 if you played almost every day. Then it made the cost up of all these games, and honestly I just think it's a better deal personally if I had to choose between buying these games individually or buying these games in a subscription. I do know that there is something to say about buying these games outright, especially if you love your favorite game on this list. You don't have to keep paying that reoccurring payment each month. But I think these services are just too cheap for what they are, that for me, it just doesn't make sense to buy all these games outright, or even buy some of my favorite games outright for $4 or $5, because you do have to realize games on mobile can kind of be iffy. $5 or $6 is kind of expensive in my opinion for buying a game outright on mobile. That probably explains why a lot of people don't feel like buying games outright on mobile. So that's probably why they wanted to do these services as well, to get people to play some of these games that they would otherwise not play on mobile if they weren't going to buy these games outright anyway. But yeah, it looks like Google is going to have a pretty compelling thing in their hands. And the one thing I am curious about is not even how many more games are coming out each and every month when it comes to the Play Pass. What I am very interested is to seeing how many more freemium or premium apps they are going to be giving you with this service. Again, that's not the reason why you actually buy this. You buy this for the games primarily. Just the apps are going to be icing on the cake, because a lot of these are hit or miss. And at least, like I said earlier in the video, the first batch of apps that are going to be on this service are actually going to be applications that are going to be tailored to people who do photography or videography on their phone. So people who primarily use their cameras on their phone. And that's kind of disappointing if you're not into that stuff. But hey, it's just icing on the cake. You look at what Apple's doing, and they're not even giving you freemium or paid applications on their service. It's strictly games. So it's going to be interesting to see the battle that's going place here, which one is going to be better, and ultimately which one's going to be worth your money, the Google Play Pass versus the Apple Arcade. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.